Welcome back, students. Hope you all are fine and safe at your place. Students, today I am back with one more part of the chapter Agriculture. The topic name is Major Crops. So students, as you know, there are many types of crops which are divided according to the geographical division of the land. So what are the major crops and what are the types of major crops? And what is the division of these major crops over our country, that we will see in our today's video. So now let's see what is the basic division of these major crops. So first of all, we will see the division of major crops. So the major crops are divided into total 4 parts. So first part is known as the food crops. It is the most important part in which we are including the staple food like rice and wheat and others. And if we talk about the second type of the crop, this is the fiber crops. Students, the fiber crops are those crops which are giving us fiber to make different type of clothes. Basically, the fiber crops are utilizing in the textile industries like jute, cotton and putson. These different type of crops are coming in the fiber crops. Next is the beverage crops. Beverage crops, which the things which we are using for the drinking like tea and coffee, these all are coming in the beverage crop. Beverage crops. Okay, that tea and coffee will include in the beverage crops. And at last, the fourth member of the crop, it is the commercial crop. Commercial crops. Students, the commercial crops, the crops which are using on the economical basis, these all are known as the commercial crops like peanut and these you can say sugar cane and different type of crops which are giving us the financial benefits. These all are coming in the commercial crops. Even we can include all these type of crops, that food crops, fiber crops, beverage crops, into the commercial crops. So now one by one we will see what are the food crops and other types of major crops. So let's start. So students, now let's talk about the food crops. What are the food crops and why we are saying them food crops? The food crops are those crops which are grown as food for the human consumption, as rice, wheat, maize, pulses. Student, first of all, we will talk about rice. Students, as we know, the rice is the most important and the main crop of the tropical and the subtropical zones. The tropical and the subtropical zones, which are nearby areas of the tropical areas. So these all areas are coming in the tropical and the subtropical zones. Students, the rice is also known as the staple food, means the basic food, and the conditions which are favorable for the rice growth, these are the high temperature, heavy rainfall and bright sunshine is required for the rice cultivation. And if we talk about the soil texture, the clay soil which can contain a huge amount of water, it is the most favorable soil for the rice cultivation. Okay students, if we talk about the distribution across the world of the rice cultivation, the most popular countries are as China, India, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand and Bangladesh. So these are the countries which are the most popular countries in the rice agriculture. If we talk about the rice growing states in our country. These are the first of all, West Bengal is the first state which is growing a large amount of rice in our country. Secondly, Bihar and Assam, Andhra Pradesh and UP are the states which are growing amount of rice in our country. Students, if we talk about the position in the rice cultivation, India has the second position after China over the world. So now we will move to the next major crop, that is wheat. Students, the next major food crop is wheat. Wheat is the most widely cultivated food crop in the world. Temperature areas with moderate temperature. Moderate means which is not so much hot or not so much cold. The moderate temperature and about 30 to 90 centimeter of rainfall is best and suited for the cultivation of wheat. Students, the wheat requires the loamy soil with water retaining capacity and the sunny weather. Countries with cold winters such as Canada grow wheat in spring, while the tropical countries such as India grow winter wheats. The countries which are growing wheat, these are China, India, Russia, Canada, USA, Australia and France. These are the major wheat exporting countries. In India, wheat is a rabi crop which is grown in the north, northwestern and central India. Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Bihar are the main producers of wheat crops. If we talk about the third major food crop, it is maize. It is a third major crop of the world, and it originated in Central America, from where it spread in the world. It is used as both food and fodder. Maize is grown in temperature as well as the tropical areas, and it grows well in deep, well-drained, clayey and sandy soil, where average temperature is above 15 degrees centigrade. The US is the largest producer of maize, accounting for half of the world's output, while China and Brazil, Mexico and Argentina, India are the major producer of the maize. In India, the major maize producing states are Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Karnataka. Now let's move to the fiber crops. In the fiber crops, we include cotton and jute. Students, the cotton, jute, hemp and the natural silk are the four major fiber crops grown in the world. And if we talk about the cotton is a fiber and comes under non-food crop category. Students, cotton is the main raw material for cotton textile industry. Cotton grows well in the areas having high temperature. It should be uniformly high throughout the growing season. It requires abundant sunshine and moderate rainfall of 60 cm to 100 cm. If we talk about the soil texture, the alluvial and black soil are best suited for its cultivation. The leading cotton producers of the world are China, India, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Brazil and Turkey. If we talk about in our country, in India, cotton has been cultivated since ancient time. If you have studied in your history chapter, students, there also you have seen the Britishers were also forcing to the Indian peasants to grow a fine quality of cotton. So in our country, the main states which are producing cotton, these are Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana. Now let's see what is jute. As all you know that jute is also known as the golden fiber. Like cotton, jute is also a fiber crop which is cultivated for the commercial purpose. And student, it is mostly used for packaging bags and making rugs and the mats. And the favorable condition for the jute cultivation, it requires high temperature and heavy rainfall. It grows best in the well-drained sandy lawn. Students, basically if we'll talk about the area where the jute is cultivated, these are the basins and the delta areas which are having the heavy sedimentation which has been brought by the rivers. It is also grown in the flood plains and it is the ideal place for this crop. India is the leading producer of jute in the world, followed by Bangladesh and China. Other major producers are Myanmar, Uzbekistan and Nepal. In India, West Bengal is the leading state in the production of jute, which followed by Bihar, Assam and Odisha. And Bangladesh is the leader in the international jute market. Now let's move to the beverage crops. The beverage crops are mainly used for making drinks such as tea, coffee and cocoa. So first of all, we will talk about the tea, which is the most important thing in our Indian culture. So it is an example of plantation agriculture. As you know, what is the plantation agriculture? In the plantation agricultures, the trees are planted in a row and the column. So it is well grown in the tropical and the subtropical climate. It requires deep and fertile, well-drained soil rich in humus and organic matter. High rainfall, evenly distributed throughout the year, is the prime requirement for the growth of the tender leaves. Students, if we talk about the geographical condition, it is well grown on gentle slopes and require intensive labor to pick the leaves. As we know that 2.5 bird only pick from the teas, and that is only used for the making tea. So if we talk about the leading producers of the tea, these are China, India, Sri Lanka, Kenya, Turkey and Indonesia. In India, the leading tea producers states are the Assam, West Bengal. In the West Bengal, the Darjeeling is famous, and Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, the Nilgiris area is famous. Assam alone produces half of the amount of tea produced in our country. Now let's move to the next beverage crop, that is coffee. Students, coffee is the second largest beverage after tea. It is obtained from the beans or seeds of the coffee plant, which are then roasted, ground and used for brewing coffee. The coffee plant requires warm climate with moderate rainfall. It requires temperature between 15 degrees centigrade and 25 degrees centigrade. The rainfall of 100 centimeter to 150 centimeter is sufficient for this plant. If we talk about the labors, a lot of manual labors are required for plucking the coffee beans. The leading producer of coffee are Brazil, Vietnam, Indonesia, Colombia, Mexico, India and Ethiopia. In India, it mainly produced in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Students, now let's move to the next type of crops, which are known as the commercial crops. Students, the commercial crops are mainly grown for sale or export, such as sugarcane, rubber, oilseed, fiber crops, tobacco, grains, beverage, etc. So about the fiber crops and the beverage, already I told you. Now we will see the main commercial crop, that is sugarcane. So sugarcane is an important source of sugar. It is a kind of grass which has a thick stem, and the cultivation of sugarcane requires high temperature and plenty of rainfall or water for irrigation. Students, if we talk about the soil texture, it needs well drained soil with leveled land. The major countries which are producing the sugarcane, these are Brazil, Cuba, India, Mexico, Pakistan, South Africa, Fiji, Hawaii, Australia, Philippines, and many more. In India, it is grown nearly in all the states, but the leading sugarcane producing states are Uttar Pradesh in India, and Punjab, Bihar, Uttarakhand, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Haryana, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu are other states which are cultivating sugar. Basically, the cultivation of sugarcane is higher in North India than in the south states of India. The next commercial crop is rubber. Rubber is industrial crop also. So rubber is the sticky juice or latex which obtained from the rubber trees. The main areas where the rubber is found, that is Amazon basin, and it requires a hot and very wet climate and with a deep, fertile and well drained soil. And areas where the rubber is produced, these are Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, and Nigeria, Brazil, and many other areas are there. In India, if we talk, the leading producer are Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Now we will see the oil seeds. Oil seeds which are giving us oil for the cooking food. Apart from cooking, the oil is used in making candles, paints, varnishes, and bath soap. The oil seeds are linseed, castor, sesame, palm, and groundnut, olive, coconut, mustard, soybean, and sunflower. These are the main oil seeds which are grown worldwide. However, the main oilseed producing countries are USA, China, Brazil, Argentina, and India. In India, the leading oilseed producing states are Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Karnataka. So students, today you have seen the major crops, in which you have studied about the different type of crops and their worldwide distribution. In our next video, we will see about the agricultural development, in which we will see two case studies about India and USA. So for that, keep watching SST June.